Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Last week, we lost a great traveler. I think most of you know already whom I'm speaking about, a traveler through time and space, Leonard Nimoy, Mr. Spock. What would Mr. Spock say about our travel experience today, especially regarding air travel? Fascinating, of course, and highly illogical, because lots of things are happening in traveling and in air travel which is not really following the latest developments. And when I talk about mobility and innovation, I will partly explain where the illogical parts are and where I believe airline and travel will develop, looking into technology and the megatrends Mr. Conradi just talked us through. So, the process of air travel is still as you see it on the screen. Nothing or not much has changed in the last 10 years. So there are still huge queues in security. There are still disruption in the travel process. There is, of course, queuing in front of counters. And it's maybe sometimes queuing in front of machines that may have changed, so you're not standing in front of a person, but still queues, waiting, boring time, inefficient time. The traveler feels more an object and partly even mistreated or a victim of processes of airports and of airlines. And that is strange, isn't it? Because so many other things have changed in the past 10 years. So when we think about digitalization, when we think about big data, actually, through the process of inspiration till the process of sharing the experience of my travel with my friends and family, I do most of that nowadays digital. I do it with my mobile. I make photos of the screens with my mobile. I put it in LinkedIn and Facebook. So I have not a guidebook anymore. I don't have a catalog anymore. I make my choices with mobile devices and with apps. And still, the process of the travel as such is cumbersome. Okay, and there are companies who have seen that, who see that development, and who are now entering, when I talk from the airline's point of view, into our vertical, into our travel chain. So we see here what Google, Amazon and Facebook are already planning. And Google is talking about building an airport of the future, which may sound really tempting, because nowadays maybe airports and airlines are too old-fashioned to think about a digital airport with seamless processes. If that is true, that is a danger for an airline as Lufthansa is. The airline as such becomes a means of transport, a commodity, nothing with a unique selling point, and therefore exchangeable. So very, very important that airlines, airports, existing ones, if they want to survive, go with a trend, think about the process, and consider what can we do with this technology, with big data, for our passengers to provide a good travel experience. And that also goes for travel agencies, becoming partners and looking into data to make convenient travel. If we look, there are lots of apps already looking into travel experience, but at the moment nobody is covering everything. But what we see here is that the top 12 apps who take care of travel have a capitalization in the market of 88 billion. I'm a CFO of an airline group. Parts of the group, all parts of the group are mentioned here. It's a big fleet, 600 aircraft. It's 3 airlines. It's the world's biggest maintenance provider, independent maintenance provider. It's the world leader in catering. And the market capitalization of this group is 6 billion. So you see what vision is behind apps, behind data, behind new business models. And actually that in capital markets nowadays, investors are thinking, is an airline a good investment? Where is the vision? Where is the dream? And therefore, market capitalization is quite low. Actually, the Airbnb, the capitalization of Airbnb alone is more of a value than the Lufthansa Group. That is a concern to a CFO, and obviously, therefore, we work on the vision and we work on a new process. So, people want to move. The travel industry, and you all know best, and looking around here in the halls and the ITB shows that. The travel industry is growing. 1950, we had 25 billion travelers cross-border. 2013, it was 1 billion, and the trend is exponential. So there will be more and more travelers, and these travelers expect seamless travel. They want to move with different means of transport. Take a bike into the subway. Go with a car to the airport and to the plane. Take a ship, an aircraft, move by foot. And another trend, Dr. Conradi mentioned it, sharing. Share a car is absolutely à la mode nowadays. No, it's nothing so special anymore. And there is, you may not know that, share a plane. Because what travelers want is hassle-free direct travel. So a trend we will see, and we see that already in Europe, is the trend to direct point-to-point connections. It's a hassle to have a hub to transfer in an airport. You don't know your way, you may miss your plane, transfer time is tight. So direct travel will grow, and share a plane may grow. So again, high time to do something for the traveler, especially as it is a growing market and we want to participate. So it's all about technology at the end. Technology development. Every one of you has a mobile, most probably more than one. Because in the whole world, there are more than 7 billion mobiles. It's, the number of mobiles is 99.5% of the population of the world. Huh? Imagine that number. So everybody is living with his, her mobile. And everybody wants to carry everything in this mobile. And you want to get, and you get to a certain extent already, lots of information. So when you start at home, going on a travel, you want to have your travel schedule with you. Or you want to know, may there be delays? What is traffic looking like on the highway? Is there a danger that I miss my plane? Should I start earlier? Do I get an information about it? Is there a delay at the airport because of fog? Should I get that information already before I start at home, so I don't have to wait at the airport, which may be convenient for the passenger as well as for the airport environment? There will be biometrics, and there are already. So not queuing in a security lane, but just walking through, because a machine will see your iris. Very convenient. I travel to the US quite often, and I have a global entry. And when I see people waiting there for 3 hours entering through immigrations, and I just walk through a machine, that's wonderful. So again, that will be a huge trend where biometrics will help to make the process hassle-free and more seamless. And there is already, and there will be more, artificial intelligence. So your TV may speak to the airport, may learn about delays there, may inform your Google car to start the heating later, because you start later, because you have to arrive at the airport later. That's all done without yourself. So there will be travel assistance, which will be part of your mobile devices. There is Industry 4.0. There are machines talking to machines, taking care of the travel process. So, and that is, as I mentioned, it's not even real time anymore, which is sufficient. So the predictive is the new real time. You want to know upfront what is happening. You want to know upfront what is happening in half an hour with your journey, or also tomorrow with your journey, and not just being too late at the airport, real time, and finding out I can nothing do anymore. Obviously, I have to mention that here because lots of people are concerned I'm not able to predict strikes. And no mobile device most probably will be able to do that. So we still have to admit not everything can be hassle-free in our human beings' world. But at least what we could control, what we can control, we shall take care of that. So we have the service providers in the different parts, as I said, ground transport, air transport, travel agencies, who provide services, and they should do that together in one device, in one process, talking through your device to the passenger so that the passenger feels not a victim anymore, but in control, knowing about the process and knowing what will happen for a hassle-free journey. So passengers will become travelers from starting at their home, or maybe from the inspiration of their journey to the travel process via the different devices. Lufthansa wants to be part of that. We founded an innovation hub here in Berlin, talking to startup companies and doing or providing a seamless mobile device, travel experience for the airline as well as for non-necessarily airline journey processes. Because what we think is that we have to get out of the commodity chain of the transportation of an airline. We have to become part of the whole travel chain, and obviously we want to participate in the whole chain of transportation. The margins, obviously, in the airline industry are the lowest. As a CFO, I have to say, okay, I want to participate also in the areas of high margins. So part of our idea and vision where air traffic and mobility will develop is having more integrated processes and less fragmented transportation, less fragmented means, and providers who take care of the whole. We would assume that all this happens with the consolidation of airlines. The airline market is, especially in Europe, quite fragmented. In Asia, still fragmented. So we assume sooner or later there will be a consolidation, because again here, like with the Amazons or Googles or Facebooks of the world, size is obviously also a very important tool to provide a good service to customers. And as I said, this is only possible with partnerships. Partnerships with agencies, partnerships with airports, most probably also partnerships with digital companies. I couldn't predict that I can honestly have any competition with Google. But with the right combination of digitalization, airline, airport, we can become in control of the process and do the best for the passenger in the future. And now, let's think about Mr. Spock again. And actually, when I prepared, and some people gave me some information for this speech here, we were thinking, what is really visionary? Because what I just mentioned, is it visionary? No, I think it's in front of our doors. What is really visionary? London to Sydney in 3 hours. I was telling my people, oh, come on, nobody will build an aircraft. When I talked to Boeing, they said, Concorde is gone, it's much too expensive. It will stay in new technology with new, material, but not necessarily a totally new quantum leap. Well, Virgin Galaxy says something totally different. And they say, yes, there will be a flight from London to Sydney in 3 hours soon. So take 10, 15 years, but it's not so far away. And virtual travel reality already exists. When you see the new virtual glasses, which will be provided this year by some of the big providers, and I had the opportunity to have a test once, you're sitting in your chair and enjoying a virtual experience of a safari or an island or a jungle. I have to admit, and maybe I'm quite old-fashioned, I prefer to have the smell and the taste and the touch. That may come, but virtual reality will take part of the travel experience, at least for some of the travels people are planning. And again, you can book already a travel from Earth to space. We do not yet know when this will happen, but I think mobility, digitalization will change our industry tremendously, and a lot more that it has done in the last 20 years, in the next 20 years. I think it's really, really exciting. I think it's really something to look forward to, but obviously for all of us, something to be prepared for. And thinking about our traveler through time and space, Mr. Spock again, I think again he would say, fascinating, but he would also say, highly logical. Thank you very much for your attention. It was just a brief run through, I know that, but I hope it gave you a little bit of an idea what could be the future. Thanks so much.